past several decades, there has not been a time when at least one war or civil conflict has not been raging somewhere in Africa. At present, almost half the nations in sub-Saharan Africa are either in the midst of conflict or dealing with the aftermath. Since 1986, civil unrest and fighting in northern Uganda, one of Africa's longest-running conflicts, went mostly unnoticed by the rest of the world. Thousands had been killed, and over 1.5 million people had fled their homes and were living in often squalid refugee camps. Worldwide attention finally focused on this region of Uganda when the tragic plight of its children was made known. Children suffer the physical and emotional cost of war more than anyone. For the children of northern Uganda, this cost was extreme. The rebel army regularly abducted young boys to fill its ranks, and captured girls as young as 12 years of age to serve as sex slaves and wives for its soldiers. Over 30,000 children have been forcibly taken over the past 20 years. Fear of being abducted resulted in thousands of children leaving their villages every night to walk into local towns where they felt safer, carrying little more than a blanket or sleeping mat, and possibly their school books. These young children would sleep in open courtyards, in tents and shelters set up by relief agencies or various ministries, or simply under a covered sidewalk next to the street. Each morning they would gather their few belongings to begin the walk home, knowing they would be repeating this cycle that same evening. These children have been traumatized by the fear and insecurity they have faced their entire lives. They have witnessed the abduction and killing of family members and friends. Children who experienced the horror of abduction by the rebel army have been affected in ways we cannot even imagine. In the midst of such situations, it is easy to lose hope. However, there is hope. It appears that the conflict may finally be coming to an end. People are leaving the refugee camps and returning home. Businesses have reopened, and city streets are again alive with people. Children can stay home at night and live relatively normal lives. At the same time, however, they are still dealing with the after effects of a lifetime of conflict and tension. Now is the time for healing, a process which, for many, could take years. Sports Outreach Ministry is playing a pivotal role in the people's lives in northern Uganda. Centered in the town of Gulu, Sports Outreach is developing a ministry center which is helping both children and adults overcome the trauma of the past 2 decades through faith in Jesus Christ. Originally utilizing sports to bring people together and create a positive atmosphere for sharing the gospel, the ministry that Sports Outreach has in and around Gulu has expanded to include church planting, prison ministry, outreach to individuals suffering from HIV/AIDS, a daycare center, programs teaching life skills designed to help people lift themselves out of poverty, a feeding ministry, and a variety of other programs. Aloysius Chaze is the Ugandan Director of Sports Outreach Ministry in Gulu. He has a heart of compassion for the people he comes in contact with every day. He knows that lives will only be changed through the power of God.
So when we use sports to communicate the Word of God, I think it is easier. So that is where evangelism and discipleship is very, very important. As coaches, we spend a lot of time with these children, so we have an upper hand in influencing them in how to accept Jesus to become their role model.
Enhancing the ministry in Gulu are the teams that Sports Outreach brings from the United States to work alongside Aloysius and his staff. The value of these teams is twofold. First, during a concentrated period of ministry, they are able to work side by side with the local Sports Outreach staff to help reach more people in a short amount of time. They also provide extra sets of hands in such areas as construction and farming. Second, team members are able to see firsthand how God is working through the ministry of Sports Outreach and catch the vision for how they can continue to help once they return home. Sports is still a vital ministry component for Sports Outreach in Gulu. Within minutes of a group arriving at a local soccer field, young people start gathering to be part of the action. Teams are selected, and a series of fun but competitive soccer matches take place. At the conclusion of the competition, the sports outreach staff conducts a short program including singing and skits. The young people are then divided into smaller groups to hear testimonies and have an opportunity to ask questions. They are encouraged to talk further with team members and staff, and are also invited to attend upcoming church services. This avenue of ministry through sports has proven to be one of the most effective methods for reaching young people with the gospel here in northern Uganda. Along with these ministry opportunities utilizing sports, teams from the U.S. are also able to work side by side with Ugandan staff members at the daycare center that provides education and nutrition, along with spiritual support for working mothers. Team members also assist in practical areas such as helping make bricks to be used in the construction of the new church building that is planned for the ministry center. Each weekday morning, new believers gather together for a casual time of discipleship. Sports outreach staff members or visiting team members share simple, practical lessons on a variety of biblical topics and also include opportunities to ask questions. As they continue to grow in their faith, they also become effective witnesses in their communities. Reaching people in surrounding villages is also an important part of this ministry. People are so encouraged to have sports outreach come to remote locations and minister. New churches are being established in places where the gospel has never been preached, and lives are being changed for the glory of God. The Ministry Center in Gulu is a work in progress. The master plan includes a new church building for the vibrant, growing congregation, which is currently worshiping in the same structure used by the daycare center during the week. With sports being such a vital part of reaching the community with the gospel, the center will feature soccer fields and basketball courts, which will be used for effective ministry outreaches. Various life skills programs help train people in such practical areas as carpentry, brickmaking, baking, and sewing that help develop vocational abilities. A farm provides demonstrations in farming techniques, along with helping provide the food needed for the ministry's feeding program. As the Ministry Center continues to develop, other avenues of outreach will be provided, including a small medical care facility meeting basic health needs, including instruction in personal care and well-being. Through each of these outreaches, people will have numerous opportunities to hear the life-changing message of the gospel. The Ministry of Sports Outreach desires to be actively involved in individual lives and in the life of the local community. Sports Outreach is providing a ministry of hope for people in northern Uganda. War, poverty, and the prevalence of HIV/AIDS have been major issues that people have been facing on a daily basis. It's a tremendous encouragement to have someone come and sit with them in their homes and villages, to hear their stories, and to take time to pray with them. Prayer is a powerful ministry tool, and it is one that all of us can effectively use to touch lives in northern Uganda. As you pray for sports outreach and the people of northern Uganda, we ask that you also pray about being part of this ministry through your support. God is definitely working in and through sports outreach in Gulu, but so much more can be done. We hope you will catch the vision.